this is funny because um we were in the middle of a really deep project because one person had already, hadn't fulfilled their end of the bargain and they asked that person to leave. So my friend came to me and said, Chris, this is real last minute. I am so sorry, but we need your help on this. I'm like, well, y'all got me on salary. I'm supposed to do stuff. Let's do it. So after doing this project, went off well, my eyelids are fluttering. I get this email. It's probably about, I want to say 10, 11 o'clock at night. And this woman is like, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but you're approved. If you want the place, it's yours. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new edition of the Chris Two Cents podcast with Chris Stevens, a writer who's going to talk about his 2 cents with common sense. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. Second half of the week, we are almost here. We are ready for the weekend. And today, I wanted to talk a little bit about something personal. And I mentioned that this channel usually covers writing, journalism, self help, creative things. And this is in the self help lane and, betterment part of the equation. So let's get to it. I saw something on Instagram earlier today that sort of resonated with me in a way that I didn't expect it to resonate. And I thought about this because I'm coming up on the third anniversary of my current home. I moved into my apartment on my birthday in 2022, September 25th. Like, that was one of the most exciting, wonderful days of my life because I haven't really talked about my previous living situation prior because I was so ashamed of it. Like, literally, so much about the previous 10 years, in fact, is something that I've tried to ignore, but I literally can't ignore it. It's part of my journey, it's part of my life. And I've gotten to the space now where I feel like I'm doing anyone who listens or watches my podcast a disservice if I'm not my full, authentic self. And that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly. And to me, this feels ugly, even though some people may feel differently. I mean, but let me show you what I found first. Well, and I'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the other stuff. If it come on the stage, there we go. All right, this comes from the Power of Psychology on Instagram. Living alone is one of the most common psychosocial factors that may have an impact on lifestyle management and health status. Although many previous studies have found that living alone increases the risk of depression, this risk has rarely been assessed on the basis of longitudinal studies. Researchers suggest that overall, that people living alone are associated with increased risk of depression compared to those who do not live alone. Compared to people who live with others, living alone increases the risk of depression. Only cross-sectional studies and a few longitudinal studies currently support this association. More high-quality studies will be required in the future to confirm this causal association. So, basically what that is was a long way of saying people who live alone are struggle a lot more than people who have, roommates or whatever. I'm going to tell you from my perspective, I don't know if I agree with that because this story goes back more than a decade. So I've actually talked about this. Matter of fact, this is on my Patreon. This lovely little podcast, how I rage quit a newspaper gig and how that sort of started the chain of events. So I invite you to subscribe to my Patreon. I'll put the link to the description. I'll put the link in the description below, and you can subscribe to that for $3 a month. You get exclusive podcasts, writing projects that I'm working on and different things of that nature. So it actually starts with this. So you could probably consider this like a preview of that podcast, and I highly recommend you check it out. So I lost my job in St. Mary's County. I mean, you guys might remember the job site unseen story. When I got fired from that job in late March 2011, I found a job back home in Delaware in 2012. And in 2011, matter of fact, like literally 3 weeks after I got booted, I was hired at that job in Delaware. And I came home. And I expected to come home for only a few months until I could find an apartment. And that was part of the plan. A couple things happened at a chain of events that sort of set me back. Number one, my car died. I had a 92 Pontiac Bonneville, which I had already had the engine replaced once. Second time, wasn't doing it again. So I had to find another car. But in order to do that, I had to make money first. So I was sharing a car with my mother, and our living situation was crazy because my mom, to her detriment, just takes in anybody who feels like she needs to take in. And I guess that would count me. But there are people who, I just didn't feel comfortable living with at the time, and it just irritated the living hell out of me. So I had to wait a few months, got another car, and I wanted to start looking for an apartment so bad, but the job depressed me so much, and I wasn't even making that much money. Mind you, this is 2011, 2012. I made, I want to say 25,000, excuse me, 2,500. If I was making 2,500 a year, I would just not work. But I was making 25,000 a year. And the thing was that I still had to fill out a timesheet. Let this be a lesson to anybody that's an aspiring journalist or working in media. If there is a place that is not salaried and requires you to still fill out a time card and account for your time, think twice about working there. Absolutely think twice about working there. I have no problem saying that. Like, there will be people who may stumble upon this and say, "Oh, he's dead wrong. You got to get in where you fit in." No, the hell you don't. Because if people can't trust you and respect you enough to say that, okay, I know this person is working on a story, or this person is working on several stories and different features like that, you don't need to work there. You don't need to work there. But yeah, I was still filling out a time card, and I felt humiliated. I felt humiliated by my entire existence at this point because I had ballooned up close to 400 pounds. Everything had just gone wrong for me. And then I did a crazy thing. I rage quit that newspaper job in June of 2012. I said, I'm going out on my own. I'm going to be a freelancer. I'm going to start my own communications firm. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, become successful. And that did not happen. That did not happen. Freelance work was slow to come. I was too new in the game to get clients like that. And it just all went downhill. And then it even went further downhill when, we, for lack of a better word, got evicted in the spring of winter of 2014. Winter of 2015, excuse me. And we found another place to live, but I was still stuck because I didn't have a full-time job. I ended up going to work at a local library, and I hated that job. Pretty much every day from the summer of 2012 until about the winter of 2022 was just depression city for me, which is crazy because I went on one of the greatest weight loss journeys of my life and was very successful during the pandemic. But I just literally still wanted out. And a friend of mine came to me with a job offer. She was like, "We're looking for writers. Can you write this stuff for us?" And I'm like, I'm a sports writer because this was an education. And she said, "I don't care. You can write, can't you? I can get you the job. Just apply." Okay. So I applied. Interviewed with a couple of people who they were a sister duo. The older sister was the founder and the boss. The other was the HR rep. And they took a liking to me right away. So I got hired. And I was hired as a contractor at first. This was in the winter of 2022. So by the middle of the summer, they were like, "How about we just make you full-time, salaried and all?" The dark cloud had moved away. So I accept that. And then I immediately start looking for apartments. I hit the ground running looking for apartments because I had to go. I was tired of living with other people. In fact, it had gotten so bad that I, gotten in a fight with a drunken high relative who was harassing my younger brother. And he threatened to go get his gun and all of this other shit. So, and he knows not to talk to me today. If we saw each other in the street, we just walk right by. Even at my nephew's funeral, which he swears is his brother, we didn't speak. Like, you came over to my mother's house talking crazy, and you thought you were going to beat me up, and you didn't. And now you were talking about you were going to shoot me. So whatever. But yeah, this is very personal. So there's a lot going on here. But I had to go. I needed to be on my own. I needed to be away from that situation. And luckily for me, I found this apartment on Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is good for some things. Buying a car ain't one of them. I'll tell you about that later on. But, you know, this apartment looked pretty cool. I filled out the application, had all my references and stuff because, well, I hadn't, I hadn't been evicted. I hadn't had any, legal trouble or anything like that. So it was nothing to get references and all of that good stuff. And I got a phone. I got a because the property manager rep that was supposed to get back to me was on vacation. I'm like, come on. I mean, and I know people got to live. Don't get me wrong. I know people got to live, but I'm like, you on vacation? Really? I want to leave, but I was half asleep, middle of the night. I had already. I mean, and this is funny because we were in the middle of a really deep project because one person had already, hadn't fulfilled their end of the bargain and they asked that person to leave. So my friend came to me and said, Chris, this is real last minute. I am so sorry, but we need your help on this. I'm like, well, y'all got me on salary. I'm supposed to do stuff. Let's do it. So after doing this project, went off well. My eyelids are fluttering. I get this email. It's probably about, I want to say 10, 11 o'clock at night. And this woman is like, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but you're approved. If you want the place, it's yours. Hallelujah. It's like, wow, this is really happening. So I got it and I moved in on my birthday, September 25th, 2022. I'll never forget because I didn't have any furniture. I had no furniture. So I went to I think I went to Big Lots. I got I got a dining room table and some folding chairs and just sat in the kitchen and listened to New Apartment by Ari Lennox and just sat there with a smile on my face eating my favorite cake that I always get every year for my birthday, a carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. And I eventually, was able to get a bed and all the other furniture and all that stuff a few months later on down the line. And there's a funny story about the day my couch came. I'll tell you that's a Patreon only exclusive that I'm going to put together in the near future. But I've been here almost 3 years and I don't regret leaving, but the loneliness is real. Like I'm very isolated. Like I have not had an office job in over 3 years because I left the library as soon as they wanted to make me full time. Matter of fact, I left when they hired me as a contract. I left in March of 2022. And it was so funny because I always thought that I would be going up to my manager's office because she was going to fire me because I was so miserable there. And she was like, and she always, would have these, words with me about you have to be professional, you have to be this, you can't be gloom and doom. And I'm expecting one of these days I'm walking and get fired. And here I am walking into her office saying, well, it's been fun working here, but I got this new thing. It's paying me really good. And I am going to give you my 2 weeks notice. And I was emotional. Like I expected to be all, I'm out of here. See ya. It was like, damn, I'm really leaving. And it actually hurts me to leave, which I never thought it would feel that way, but that's what happened. So, I'm in my apartment, I'm living life, and then, things happen. I got let go from that cushy little salary job in February 2023. And then of course, Ken Rashad, my lifeline, when I reached out to him because I freelanced for HBCU Sports the fall before covering the Dell State football game, I was like, Ken, do you guys need any more help? He was like, yeah, we can use help. We can definitely use your help. I didn't know that Ken had been watching me. So, he'd been scouting me. So I was being scouted. Like this is another lesson. Always put your best foot forward when you on your hustle because you never know who's watching. You never know. Like Ken was like, man, he like later on he'd say, man, you write books, you got a podcast. Like who wouldn't want to work with you? And I was like, damn, I didn't even know people was watching like that. So I ended up coming on to HBCU sports full time. So my life was saved once again. And I still have this apartment. I am still here. But here's the caveat. I have a hard time with, being alone, being away from people, even though I was so quick to get away from living with my family and all of that. Like, I mean, I have no problem saying that I have lonely spells. I mean, because I'm a human being. I mean, and this isn't me, woe is me through the loneliness epidemic that men are going through, because by and large, a lot of the loneliness epidemic that men have gone through is pretty much us shooting ourselves in our own feet, basically. So I'm not even going to sit here and say, oh, wow, woe is me. I'm just saying that, yes, I do have lonely spells. But I think the part that's been difficult for me is just watching my weight increase incrementally, because in March of 2021, I was 218 pounds, fit as I've ever been in my life. I mean, my shoulders had sculpt. I mean, I didn't have a super gut. I just had a pouch. My flanks were, I looked good. I felt handsome. I felt sexy. I felt beautiful. Damn it. I mention that song a lot because that song I played I'm Beautiful Damn It so much during my weight loss journey. And now I'm back up to about 275, 280. I hate it here. I know I've gone, problem is when you live on your own and you have your own kitchen and you're not fighting with anybody for food, it's easy to just get lost in the sauce. And when you work from home, be like, okay, I'm bored. Let me go see what's in this kitchen. Same shit that's been in the kitchen already. Gotta stay away from it. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do to get back on my weight loss grind so I can get back down to feeling good about a weight where I feel good about myself. I don't think I'll ever get back down to 215, 218, but if I can get to like 230, 240, I'll be happy there. That's my objective. That's my official main objective. Once again, I know it's not going to happen by the end of this year, but I'm hoping by next summer I'll be back to that weight. So I'm still running, still walking, still doing push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks, still swinging my kettlebell, my 30-pound kettlebell. I went from 10 to 20 to 30. So I'm not a weak human being, but I just don't like the way I look. And so that depression comes from comes in when you're an emotional eater. When you're sad about something, you eat. When you're happy about something, you eat. That's what emotional eating does. And I need to get out of being an emotional eater. And just the fact of, just going back to the loneliness thing, like I talk about how, I wouldn't mind having companionship, but there's still this part of me that wants to, live wild, loose, and free. Like I talk about this on another podcast that is did I have this one loaded? I did. Yes. I exhoriated Shannon Sharp on this episode. Like I said, sign up for the Patreon, man. It's only $3 a month. And I talked about how, a lot of men try to have a second childhood or a second whole phase, and I'm guilty as charged of that. I am. But I still feel like, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to have fun, healthy, safe, and clean fun, consensual, mutual chemistry type fun. That's my personal opinion. But I know that the older I get, the less likely that becomes, not because of physical limitations, but probably because I just wasn't out there like that to have the experience to be able to, really sauce it up. I mean, I could try that now, but who knows? But just wanted to talk to you guys about that and let you guys know what I'm feeling, what I'm dealing with right now. I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, again, I have my own space. I have my own peace. I can listen to music as loud as I want. I can cook whatever I want. And, I don't have to worry about if I've been out, working or just out or whatever. Only person I come back to is me. And I don't mind that some days. Other days, I would like someone else here. But, I'm still trying to get to a point where it's a want and not a need, and it's a added bonus instead of a completion. That's the challenge. That's what I'm trying to, work through. But just those are the things that I wanted to talk to you about. So the main thing for me is that I'm holding myself accountable for, and I want you to hold me accountable as well. I'm going to try and watch what I eat. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to get out of this house, because if I can drive to my library, another local library, not the one I used to work at, I ain't going back there. It wasn't so much the coworkers that drove me crazy, it was the damn patrons. But yeah, if I could just take my workout on the road with me, if I can like sit at a Starbucks or sit at another library or somewhere where there's Wi-Fi and just not be at home, so I'm not tempted to go in my kitchen and just gobble and drink all day. The only thing I drink is water, so that's not that bad. But if I could just figure out a way to get out of this house more, I think that would help with my weight loss thing. Also, will probably help me learn to be more social, so I can meet new people and maybe meet women who are down for the NSA thing. Who knows? But that's all. I just wanted to touch base with you guys because I keep saying that once a week I'm gonna give you guys episodes, and this is the one for the week. So that's my 2 cents. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys got something. Once again, my Patreon is $3 a month. This is some of the stuff that you can expect on my Patreon. A special exclusive podcast about the Shannon Sharpe settlement, as you can see. I also posted a short story from a lost collection that I was planning to publish but never did. And of course, the episode that I just recorded about the time that I rage quit a newspaper job. So all of that, and there's more. There's actually more stuff on the page. That's just the featured attractions. So for $3 a month, you get a lot of good content, and it probably averages out to about a quarter to 50 cents per piece of content for an entire month. And I'm going to keep adding stuff as it goes. So for $3 a month, you're going to get a lot. You're getting podcasts, you're getting writing, you're getting novels, essays, short stories, all sorts of content, man. I think you'll enjoy what I'm doing over on my Patreon. And that $3 a month is going to help because we are still, working through our payroll struggles at HBCU Sports. I'll still have my GoFundMe and my Cash Apps in the description below if you guys want to help me out that way. But yes, that's this edition of Chris's 2 cents. Greatly appreciate y'all for watching and listening as always. And until the next time we speak, y'all be good or be good at it.